encourage your soul, enlighten your mind, and empower your faith. This is the Light Network. Hello and welcome to Preachers in Training. I'm Robert Hatfield. This is the podcast on which we discuss all things preaching and ministry. And it's that time of year again. It's time for the annual Ministry Holiday Gift Guide. Here to help us with that, as always, it's a holiday tradition. Chad Landman is back. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Hey, Robert. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for the invite to come back, man.
Chad joins us from Columbia, Tennessee, where he serves the Graymere Church of Christ as education minister. What's the official title?
Still education minister.
Good.
Still doing it.
Good.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there these days?
It will be 10 years in just a few months.
Whoa. That can't be true.
We're not getting any younger, Robert, turns out.
I know.
Whoops.
I know. How many of these gift guides have we done? Who really knows? But it's always fun. 8, really?
8,
okay.
Because I went back and looked, and I wanted to kind of surprise you with this on the air because
I'm so glad
I went back
did.
and watched some of these, and I was like, man, we've had a lot of fun with these.
We have,
and so I'm
yes.
looking forward to doing the 10th anniversary show here in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is an annual tradition, as we say, and it is a tools of the trade kind of thing. Now, we have some biases, and you're going to see that as we go. We tend to be Apple-y kind of people, and that's going to come out today. But this is so. Chad, you have more than dabbled. Like, you're an all-in geek, right? I mean, you are a techie guy.
I am.
So you test this stuff all the time. And so a lot of people will, message you or call you up or text and be like, hey, what do you recommend for X, Y, or Z? Here we are, the end of the year. Maybe, you got some people, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Maybe it's something that you would like to put on your list that can serve you well in ministry. That's why Chad is here. He's going to give you the best stuff, the insider secrets that will enhance your ministry. So these are more than just toys and flashy things. Although we are enthusiastic about these things, these are things that will help you and the view, right, Chad, is that you've picked these with a view toward ministry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so I'm looking forward to diving into this. I'm looking at this list. Chad has pre-sent me the list. We have not really discussed any of these yet, but you have them broken down into 3 categories: the givens, books, and tech and tools.
That's correct. Yep. I figured that was the best headline, the best sub-headlines I could put on there. So.
Okay. All right. So we got the givens, the books, and the tech and the tools, and we start with the givens. Tell us, Chad, what do you mean by the givens in this?
Okay.
category?
So the givens, I would say, is the ones that I typically recommend a couple of different Apple things every year because Apple releases new products every year, and usually there's a new iPhone every year, and I usually haven't. I think I looked back at the last 2 or 3 gift guides. I had not recommended an iPhone in a while,
Whoa.
but I got to tell you, this iPhone 15 right here, I have not. I loved my mini. I loved my little 13 mini. I loved the size.
May it rest in peace. They didn't.
May it rest in
bring
peace.
them back. Yeah,
they did not bring them back, and the battery life became atrocious, and just. It was just not, and it was becoming a little bit slow, but I can tell you right now, the design, the little subtle design changes, if you can see the camera bump right there, and just the slit. I'm a caseless person. I live on the wild side.
Living on the edge.
And the matte glass back here and the kind of the edges are soft now. It is just, this is the best iPhone I've purchased in a number of years. I wish they made it in the mini size, but this is the 15. It's got the dynamic island. It is not the Pro because I don't need the Pro. And this one is $400 cheaper.
Right.
And it's, of course, black is the only color you should buy one in. And but the cameras are the 14 Pro cameras from last year. And I have been incredibly impressed with the quality of these cameras. The HDR video that you can take with these is outstanding. I've never been more impressed with a phone when I got it Maybe because I had a jump from the Mini 13 to the 15. I skipped the 14 altogether,
Mm-hmm.
but this is one of the best Apple purchases I've made. And for people to, I know if people look at iPhones year to year and they go, "Well, nothing changed." Well, this one it had some pretty significant internal and external changes, and it may look like the previous year's iPhones, but it's very, very good. Highly recommend just the 15 non-Pro for 99% of people, I think.
Okay. All right. We've got the Apple iPhone
Oh,
15.
and the biggest thing, Robert,
Yes,
look at that.
yes.
It's
Uh,
USB-C.
check it out.
It's USB-C,
Now, some
and
people are going to
everything.
bemoan because they've got a jillion iPhone things,
Yeah,
chargers.
but you've got more USB-C stuff. That's all I'm
This
gonna
is
come
true.
back with that argument and say
Okay.
you've got more USB-C stuff because everything else in your life is USB-C. And so
And if
we
it's not, it's fastly approaching that, right?
exactly,
Quick,
exactly.
quickly. I said fastly. Wow, what a word! What a non-word. I upgraded to the 15 Pro
Very
Max,
nice, very
and
nice.
you
The
know
titanium was
and
very
yes,
it
right,
was very alluring to me. The
right,
way Here's another thing about this phone is the weight. Because I
yes.
wanted something that was if you carried I carried a 14 Pro for just a few months and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up selling it to my brother-in-law.
Oh,
And these are so lightweight
hmm,
that you won't notice that I wanted something with the weight equivalence of my 13 mini because the 13 mini is like carrying around nothing.
right.
And these are so much more lightweight. And the pros, you wouldn't believe the difference in weight, putting
Mm-hmm.
them in one hand, doing that. And so, yeah, it's believe it or not, weight is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Okay, so do you have the 6.1 inch or the 6.7 inch?
I have the 6.1.
Okay. All right. So you said this. It starts at $799. What do you think? We always talk about storage each year. It starts at 128 gigabytes of internal storage.
I
You
think
know,
that 128 should be good enough for almost everybody if you pay Apple a couple of extra bucks a month to use iCloud Photos, which you obviously should,
okay.
because you get extra storage with photos, and they're automatically backed up. You don't have to transfer photos. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff, and
Okay.
it's the easiest $3 or $4 I spend every year. But yeah, if you have that, then you don't have to use up all that storage space.
Okay. Cool. So we have the iPhone 15. Where do we go from here in our
Well,
givens category? These are
the
the
eh, the
givens.
the next best accessory, and I still say that they're the best ones. The best thing that Apple's ever made is the ones that I'm wearing right now are the
Uh-huh.
Apple AirPods Pro. It gets really confusing here. Second generation with USB-C. Now you can get the second
Okay.
generation with the Lightning charging, and the second generation AirPods Pro. The noise canceling from the first generation it's a loads better. It's like
Mm.
50% better. I just took a plane flight this weekend to
Mm-hmm.
Katy, Texas, outside of Houston, and boy, they're just amazing to have on an airplane. So that noise canceling in the second gen AirPods Pros are great, but then you get the added benefit of USB-C. Well, I'm always got relatives that I can hand down old AirPods to, so I
Yeah.
was able to hand down these AirPods to a relative and get the new ones along with my phone. And now, literally everything I have is USB-C. So
All
it's
right.
wonderful to on a trip. I just took a. We're going to talk about a power adapter here later that I'm recommending. I just took one power adapter with me and was able to power everything. Great.
Wow. Okay, so there is a third generation's AirPods, but
Yes.
you're going with the AirPods Pro
hmm
second generation. So
hmm
why this one specifically?
Because this is the second version of the
The
original AirPods
Pro.
Pro,
Uh-huh.
and the noise canceling on them
Okay.
is absolutely superb.
Got it. All right. Very good. They start at 249 and your link is to the Apple Store
Yeah,
website. Yeah.
and I just linked to the Apple Store, but during Black Friday, you'll probably be able to get these a little bit cheaper because they're not brand new.
Mm.
And I would look at places like Sam's and Costco because
Oh,
I've
really?
seen them. Yeah, I've seen them for as little as 199 there.
Oh,
But
okay.
excellent, excellent to talk on the phone. I mean, it's just amazing to have
Mm-hmm.
these.
Very cool. All right, AirPods Pro. Now the next one, was this on the list last year?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I'm
All right.
recommending it again
It's coming
because
back.
it's coming back because
It's
there is nothing better. It is the Apple iPad Mini 6. Now, as soon as I say this, they're going to launch an iPad Mini 7. But they have not yet. And there's
mhm.
no indication that they will release one this year. It'll probably be next spring until they release the 7.
Were you
But the
surprised
Apple,
when the October event came and went without any kind of iPad mention?
no, I wasn't because I had followed the rumors and I knew
Okay.
that it was going to be primarily Mac focused, and they
Yeah.
really wanted to kind of get all those M3s out
Yeah.
right away. Which, by the way, if you've still got an Intel MacBook, it is
Mhm.
absolutely time to update to the M3. You're going to be blown away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, back to the iPad. The iPad, I believe the iPad Mini specifically is the perfect preaching and teaching tool.
Mhm.
Um, you're not gonna write your lessons on it. You'll do that on your desktop. This is not a content creation device, it's a content consumption device. So it's perfect for YouTube, for listening to podcasts, for listening to other, churches' live streams and different things
Mhm.
like that. It's great for reading,
Reading. Yeah.
Kindle or otherwise, internet. And then just preaching and teaching, Robert. There's nothing like it. I love the compact size. It's the same size as my Bible, and I
Yeah.
carry it around with me. It's perfect.
Wow. Okay. Well, Amazon while we're recording has it marked down to $389.95 from
Yes, they do.
469.
They
Okay.
do. And I don't know why it's a little bit more expensive than maybe the $329 iPad, but
Yeah.
I always have a Bible when I preach or teach. I always have
Yes.
a physical Bible with me, but I use an app on the iPad called Obsidian that's got all of my notes on it.
Mhm.
It is fantastic, wonderful. My notes are everywhere, and it is just a tremendous, tremendous tool to be able to use to just know that my notes are going to be anywhere that I need them to be for Bible class. Because I teach at sometimes I'm teaching 3 Bible classes a week here at Graymere,
Wow.
and so it's really nice to just be able to have this one device. I've got the LTE version, the 4G, 5G version, which is
Mhm.
excellent, especially when you get to places where you're visiting or you're teaching or preaching there. And that way you don't have to worry about logging onto their Wi Fi, syncing your files, and different things like that.
Right. Right. Generally speaking, I know it varies by carriers and stuff. If you're adding on an LTE device that is not a phone, what is your cell phone bill looking like difference wise?
On Verizon, we can add it for $10 a month.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's what I was expecting you to say. Yeah,
not
something like that.
bad, not bad at all.
Okay, very good. So the iPad Mini makes its grand re-entrance. It's good when a product stands the test of time, especially a year.
And if you're a little bit older and you need something that has bigger text, well, the iPad Air is a completely great opportunity device to do that with.
hmm
But they're still selling the $329 iPad non-Pro non-Air education version.
hmm
So if you really are on a budget and you can't spend $100 or $200 more, you can get those, and they're fantastic.
Yeah,
And the great thing about it is they run all the apps that all the other ones run as well.
the battery life and everything is just so good.
Yep.
All right, so those are our givens. Now we're moving into some books this year. That's exciting.
Yeah. So
Tell
I've
me how
got. I wanted
you've
to.
tell me how you've arrived at these. You've got several book
I've got.
recommendations here.
I've got 3 books. Usually I try to do at least 1 or 2 books, but I could
hmm
not decide between one. I had just been so impressed with one of these, or a couple of these actually. And the first one I want to mention, and I think this is a little bit out of order on our links list, but
Okay.
this is Who is Like the Lord?
Yeah,
It's by Dr. Dwayne Bryant. I have
I've
been
heard of that
teaching.
guy.
Yeah, how about that guy? That
From
guy's
Light
that
from the
guy.
Past, right here on the Light Network. There
Yeah,
you go.
absolutely. And that is not a. I mean, I actually knew that he was a host of one of the shows here, but
Yeah.
at the same time, this is just a fantastic book.
hmm
And I am teaching a series on the attributes of God and the characteristics of God now in our Wednesday night auditorium class,
hmm
using this book as one of the bases. And it's just so nice how he has arranged it, how he talks about God's, like for instance, tonight I'm talking about God's righteousness and justice.
Mm.
We talked about God's love and goodness last week. We talked about um, his omnipotence, the character, the things that make God God, his omnipresence, all the omnis. And
Hmm.
so I have had so many people tell me they have really enjoyed this class because Dr. Justin Rogers visited us this summer, and he just happened to mention offhand, "Hey, if you haven't done a class recently here at Graymere on the characteristics of God, you really should do that." And I have never taught that before, and
Yeah.
this was the book that was most highly recommended. And so I'm really glad to have it in a physical form. It is not available in physical form, and that's a bummer um, because it was
See,
on
that's
start
what
to
I'm
finish.
over here looking for.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
okay, how do
it's
I get
and
off of
that's
this?
why I linked the audio book version. But this
Hmm.
book is so good that it would be worth it you listening to the audio version
Good.
if you can't find it anywhere else. It's really good.
Okay. Who is like the Lord? Exploring the attributes of God by Dr. Dwayne Bryant, who is now on the Bible faculty at Faulkner University.
I did not
Uh,
know that. Very
yeah.
cool.
So good stuff. All right.
And the other is one that you might have heard of and you might not have heard of. This is called Generations,
Mm.
and it's by Dr. Gene Twenge. It's spelled Twenge.
All right.
This book explores the differences and um, how different generations have been basically sexualized throughout the generations of Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and boomers.
Wow.
And then she has this group that she calls the silence, and she breaks it down a little bit differently than you've ever heard before. And in my studies, as far as trying to keep on top of how and the why of digital parenting stuff, this has been incredibly beneficial. I think any preacher, any minister reading this is going to have plenty of things to think about and to preach about on this. This would not be a book that you don't preach this or teach from it for a Bible class or whatever
Yeah.
like that, but it's just going to give you such great insights into the things that are happening in our culture today and the things that we're seeing. And I just thought it was a really good read. I got recommended this by Jason Helton. He's the media outreach minister at the Madison Church
Mm-hmm.
near Huntsville, Alabama. So, and he's got a ton of great book recommendations on this subject, and he's got a great series that he's actually doing that you can check out Madison's live streams called Digital Analog. I forget what it's called. Analog People in Digital Babylon, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of this before. Okay.
absolutely.
Generations, the real differences between Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, boomers, and silence, and what they mean for America's future. The hardcover is $23.49 on Amazon. The Kindle version is $14.40. Well, it's a little more than that actually. It's like 16 because I've got some credits and I'm logged in on Amazon. What are what are you doing here? I'm logged in on Amazon and I'm showing my screen to the world. $16.99 on Kindle. Spiral bound. What does that even mean?
I guess
You
that
could
somebody would be able to teach it, but
Okay. You can
because
get
it is,
this.
I mean, you could teach this. This could be a full semester college class. It really could be.
Wow. Well, good.
It's that good. It's
Audio
really good.
CDs. You can order the CD set.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man,
I'm
get on
not
that.
mocking. I'm just surprised that these are still options. That's amazing. Okay. And this
Hey, some
book,
people still have old stereos in their cars. They don't have the ability to hook
oh,
up their
that's
phones and
true.
stuff.
That's
So
true. This book was published in April of this year.
yeah,
Okay.
it's basically new.
Yeah.
So
All right. Very good. We should mention, and this is a good time to do it, Chad. You mentioned that you're trying to keep up with the trends and all of that for a variety of reasons. Ministry, parenting.
yes,
Put those together, and what do you got? You got the digital parenting workshop, and Chad travels all over the place. I assume you mentioned you flew into Katy, Texas.
yeah.
I assume for that reason, right?
I was at the Katy Church of Christ in outside of Houston just this
Mm-hmm.
past weekend. It was my last big trip of the year,
Oh,
and that was the 86th workshop that I have done, which is
whoa!
crazy to say that. Not that I'm counting, but it was a pleasure to be with them, and it has been. I think I've had about 7 workshops that I've done this year, and I'm
Wow.
full already on next year. And
Mm.
so, man, it's going really well. And if you want to talk to me about any of that kind of stuff, I'm incredibly try to be incredibly flexible on
Mhm.
some certain stuff. And I would love to try to help you out. I can do a variety of different things with that, but I haven't
Cool.
been keeping up with my YouTube lately because life happens and
Life
ministry
happens.
happens, and
Sure.
you don't regularly do things. But at the same time, that page right there, the resources and downloads page,
Yeah.
Robert, has
Uh-huh.
a ton of great stuff on it.
Wow. Okay. Check it out, digitalparentingworkshop.com. Link in the show notes. Preachers in Training Season 18, Episode 10. Okay, I just had to give that commercial real quick. We'll say more about that later. There's another book in there, and this one is, I would think it seems to me to be the oddball of the trio.
It is, and it only is one of those that I would not recommend a book that I have not obviously read, but I
Sure.
would not recommend a book that was not, it just didn't make some kind of impression on me. This is Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow, and this is
Mm.
an older book. It was published in 2011, but I don't read books like this normally, Robert, and this had a profound impact on me when I went to I was able to go to New York City this summer with my wife,
Mhm.
and we went to the the Museum of Art there in New York City, and I got to see um, the giant painting of Washington crossing the Delaware. And when I looked at that painting,
Wow.
I thought, he is the first president of our country, and I know almost nothing about him. I know the different tropes and myths and stuff like that we hear, and jokes and things like that, but I don't know anything about how he got there. And this starts back in like the 1740s with his early British Army career, and moves all the way through his presidency and his death in the 1790s. And it is just, you would think it would be super boring, but I was kind of what it's a huge book too, and it took me forever to read it. But it was really interesting. I learned so much about Washington that I had never learned before. And he had a very interesting view on religion. A lot of people think that he was undoubtedly a Christian, which is not the case, which
Mm.
I don't know. That's not necessarily a good thing to talk about. But did you know that he was a dancer? He was a really good dancer. Did you know that?
Really? Wow.
um,
Okay.
and he was in a lot of debt for most of his life for a
Oh,
lot of things. And it's like, man, I did not think so. We elevate, it was kind of a Bible lesson as well. We elevate Washington to this super high standard when he was just a guy who struggled just like the rest of us.
sure.
And yeah, I just found it an incredibly interesting read, so I thought I'd recommend it.
That's cool. Check it out. Washington, A Life. A Pulitzer Prize winner, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Not
very, very
Washington, but the
good.
book. The book
It's
about
written
Washington. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's written in a way that it's an autobiography, but at the same time, or it's a biography rather, but at
Mm.
the same time, it is written almost as a drama.
Oh,
So it's kind of interesting. It's a lot of facts, but it's just still, I just found it incredibly interesting.
12.79 for the paperback on Amazon.com today. All right, very cool. Now we move to the tech and the tools.
Now we move to
So
the meat.
to the meat. So these are just odds and ends, some smaller, some larger, just kind of accessory kind of things, right?
Yes. So the
This is where
first
the
on the
fun is.
list, this is where some of the fun stuff. Now, this is not as exciting as some of the previous years because I did go back and watch some of those.
Okay.
But these are just so these tech this tech and tools, these are just so useful that if you have these in your bag or have these in your pocket, you're gonna go one day and you're gonna go, man, I'm really glad I had that.
Mm.
And the first being the Anchor Nano 3. Now, this is the Nano 2. They have a Nano 3 that's even better. But as you can tell, it's very small. This is a 65-watt charger. And
Okay.
this one right here, the Nano 3, has two USB-C ports on it. And it is absolutely killer because I can power two full-size iPads with this. And
Wow.
I can charge them. I can fast charge two full-size iPads on this. I can fast charge two iPhones, two Android phones with this. I can fast charge an iPad and then basically slow charge my MacBook with this one little charger. It is
Mm.
amazing. So if I don't have anything with me, I know that I can use this. And let me grab the other. I'm gonna grab the other charger that we're gonna talk about here in a second. But
Oh, exciting.
um, so I've got another bigger charger that I can recommend that will be a full replacement. But yeah, this Anchor Nano is is unbelievable. It has gotten me out of so many pinches because I have it in a small little pocket in my backpack.
Hmm.
And sometimes you forget to bring a charger. And I will tell you that this has bailed me out so many different times. This one
Yeah.
only has one input and it still was able to charge whatever I needed to charge because everything I have now is USB-C.
So it doesn't like hurt to I think some people have misconceptions about this. It doesn't like hurt a MacBook for you to charge it with a small thing like this. It just means it
No.
may not charge as quickly as if you use the big brick that comes in the box, right?
That's correct. And as long as you're not using the computer under load, meaning if you're like exporting a big 4K video or something
Yeah.
and you plug this up, it's still going to drain. But if you're
Mm,
just watching Netflix or if you're surfing the internet and you have it plugged up to something like as small like this, it's going to keep it probably at the battery level that you have it at. So
cool.
it's at least going to do it and it's going to charge it very slowly.
If you plugged it up, went to bed, got up the next morning,
Yeah.
what? I mean, it will have
It's going to
improved the battery.
Yeah, it will have. Well, it'll fully charge it. And
Okay.
the thing about it is, Robert, is that especially with Apple products, but with basically every electronic device these days, it is so intelligent. They have so much software in them and
Hmm.
so intelligent to know that when they need to stop charging versus when they're fully charged. Apple even started something with the new iPhones that they will only charge up to 80% while you've got them on the charger when you're asleep at
Right.
night.
Hmm.
And when it figures out through machine learning about what time you wake up every morning, it will then charge from 80% to 100% in a very short amount of time for you.
Mm.
And the reason why it does that is because that is prolonging the battery life because lithium batteries, they wear out and they decrease in capacity over time. And they're just trying to prolong the batteries for everybody.
Yeah. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night and you look at your iPhone on this bedside table and you have your iPhone plugged in, but it's only at like 80% charged, it's because your iPhone knows you and it knows you're not going to wake up for another 3 hours.
Yep,
So
that's
it's
correct.
waiting to charge to 100% to try and help extend the lifetime of your battery overall. It's pretty cool.
It really is.
All right, the Anker 47-watt USB-C charger Nano 3 is $29.99 on Amazon. Order it today. It gets here on Prime in 2 days. I'm just
Yes.
saying. Okay. All right, but from there we go to a different sized charger.
Now, I wanted to show you this one. This one's different sized, and again, I know there's probably you're thinking, oh, these chargers are super boring, right?
No, they're not at
Well,
all.
this is a 100-watt GAN charger from a company named
Oh,
Aohai.
oh,
I
oh,
don't know exactly how to say it,
oh,
but it's
hi.
a really good two-port USB-C charger. And if you notice, 100 watts will charge anything that you have. It
Okay.
will fast charge a MacBook. It will fast charge a 16-inch MacBook Pro. It'll fast charge a Dell 16-inch laptop. Anything. It will basically fast charge anything. But there's a little cool thing about this. Let me see if I can get it going here. So if I plug this into the wall, it comes with a cable and it's got these yellow little cables on it,
Oh,
but it's a special cable. So let me tell you exactly what it does. And this charger is not cheap, but at the same time, it's really nice. So I know exactly if I plug this in, it
mm-hmm.
will give me a readout
Oh, wait a minute.
of how many. Let me turn it around. It will give me a readout of how many watts it's charging my phone right there. So it's charging at
Ah,
7 to 8 watts right now, and
uh-huh.
it gives me a little readout. And that would basically let it helps when you're in a place like a hotel or an airport. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually check out exactly how many watts it's charging at because however many watts it's charging at is how fast it's charging. And
Mm.
so my phone is only charging at 7 watts because my battery percentage is above like 80%, like you just said,
Mhm.
and it's not going to do that. But if I was to plug in my MacBook here, it'd probably start charging at 50, 60, 70 watts. And it is just fantastic. This charger is cool, but it's got two USB-C ports, so I can use that other port to charge something else. and it
Yeah.
switches intelligently between them. It's just a fantastic charger. It is heavy.
Okay.
Um, it's small, but it's heavy. So in comparison to that nano charger right here, you can see the size difference.
Mm-hmm.
This one's chunkier right here, but this it's basically the size a little bit smaller than a regular MacBook charger.
Yeah.
But you've got, again, two USB-C ports, and you've got 100 watts on it. It's really nice.
That's neat. It's on sale on Amazon right now, down from $109.99 to $79.99.
And that is a killer deal because it is
27% off.
you could carry. This is the one that I carried with me on the trip this weekend, and I didn't have to use anything else. Didn't have to bring my MacBook charger. Didn't have to bring
That's
anything.
handy. Yeah, that's handy. And it's awfully nice to be able to use the same charger, even the same cable if you wanted for your
Yep,
phone, for your iPad, for your MacBook, whatever, if you're bringing all that. So that's cool.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. The AO High 100-watt USB-C charger.
Normally, I would say that's one of those, that's one of those Asian brands that
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't need to trust. But at the same time, this company has a really good track record, and they're getting really, really popular. A lot like Ugreen and AOI, and then
Mm-hmm.
Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of all the same basket right now.
Okay. Very cool. It's next up a mouse. Really? You're recommending a mouse?
Here's the thing, Robert. Here's the thing.
I
When we
jest.
have
These are
I
important
know you
things.
do.
I know.
They are. And I know you jest, but at the same time, how many preachers have you seen struggling with their laptops and they're trying to use the trackpad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they use nothing but the trackpad day in and day out. Well, this mouse is the
Ooh.
best mouse. Have you heard my mouse click at any time during this podcast?
No, I haven't.
Because you won't hear it because it's got
Oh, that's
super
quiet.
soft buttons. It's
That's
really
quiet.
nice and quiet. I had one that was super clicky, and you could hear it on any podcast that I was on or any show that I
Oh
was
no.
recording.
Yeah.
But this one has all sorts of You can see the buttons on the side right
Yeah.
there. You can customize these for Windows or Mac.
Mm.
You can customize these by the app. So if you're working in Word or if you're working in Firefox or Chrome, you can actually customize these buttons to open up a new tab. You
Mm.
can scroll left and right using these right here.
Oh,
It's got
interesting.
a middle scroll wheel and a middle button. It's got a bunch of buttons on it, so it's a really good for gamers. But it's just really nice to use. I've had every version of these, and the 3S4, and it says for Mac, but it doesn't really matter. You can use it
Uh-huh.
for Windows as well. It's Bluetooth,
Yeah.
and it's really good. It's got a really good. I've got this in white, of course, and you can get them in black. The great thing about it is Robert, I told you before, we're not getting any younger, and my wrist is not. When I do long, long video editing sessions, I
Mm-hmm.
need something like a mouse like this to be pretty ergonomic. And
Mm-hmm.
this really is nicely ergonomic because it fits your wrist in a really good way like that.
Mm.
And just cannot recommend this enough. So I thought I would put it on our list.
I love it. All right. It's $100 on Amazon. The Logitech MX Master 3S wireless performance ergonomic mouse. Cool. All right. This is the 2023 annual ministry gift guide. We're just learning all about all sorts of great things. And I don't even know what this thing is next that you're about to tell us about here.
So this
This
is a
is
hard drive. I'm plugging it
okay.
up so I can show you what it looks like.
Oh,
This is a tiny, tiny, tiny little hard
look
drive,
at the size of that thing.
but it's got a screen on it, if you can see.
What?
And it gives you all sorts of it's called the Dock Case M.2 Smart SSD. So you can buy all sorts of SSDs. You can buy, Samsung SSDs, you can buy Seagate ones. This one is super tiny. It's about as big as a silver dollar. You can
Mm-hmm.
get them in white and black, but the simple thing is you can buy any size M.2 drive, which is a super little small drive, and it's one screw, and you just put the drive in, and you put it back on there, and you've got yourself a really nice little drive. This one's got, you see where it says PLP charging there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This has got a protection circuit to where if it's fully charged, I can unplug it and there will be no data loss. It will still be on for at least like 10 or 20
Oh,
seconds.
it's
So
got a
technically
little
I could
battery
actually,
power or something
it's
in
got a
there.
little tiny little battery backup inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could plug it back in actually. So if it mistakenly come unplugged and unmounted, I could plug it right back in and it would mount right back up and there would be no data loss there. So
Wow.
really great. There's no reason for you to, I say there's no reason. You should buy whatever storage you can afford when you get a computer. But
Yes.
if you do not have enough storage, getting something like these, you can get SSDs, Robert, right now are so cheap. They
Mm,
used to be back at COVID and 2021 especially, they got really expensive, but
right.
now they're back down to really low prices. So the enclosure is $89, but the drives you can get a 512 drive or a terabyte drive for 60 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool to use. I just love this little hard drive. And the greatest part is I can basically put it anywhere. And I, of course, if I have a lot of data with video and working in photos and different things like that. So it's really handy for me to be able to have. And these things are super fast too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so you're going to get, some kind of drive maybe similar to I scrolled down on Amazon, it showed me
And
this thing.
that's the one I'd pair with it right there because that's a
Okay.
really good one. That's the 1 terabyte. And Corsair is a very good brand. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but really, any brand, any normal brand that you're going to find in there, your Samsung, Seagate,
Right.
even Sony has M.2 drives and stuff.
Uh-huh. Okay.
They're going to be just fine. They're going to be the same speeds and everything. But yeah, Corsair is a really good one.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're going to get one of those. You can put it in this enclosure, and this little screen is showing you everything from, whether that little battery backup is ready, what transfer speeds.
Transfer speeds. It'll give you the life of the drive. So believe it or not,
Uh huh.
SSDs do wear out just like a regular spinning drive would.
Sure.
And so you'll need to replace those once every, 5, 10 years, and it will give you the kind of the health of that on there as well.
Oh,
So
good.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
And there's a little button on it. So you can push the little button on it and get a little bit of a change. It'll give you the SSD info on it,
Oh,
and you
okay.
can see how much what the power on is. You can see how much space is left on it, all sorts of different stuff. So it's got a little tiny button on the bottom as well.
Cool.
Yeah, that little one right there. I
Oh,
just think it's
okay.
cool. It's a little cool to have a tiny little screen like that and
Yeah.
be able to have two. I've got two of them, and I just use those for my video projects because my hard drive tends to be a little bit smaller. Your hard drive can get really filled up really quickly with
Yeah. With video.
doing video stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it connects via USB-C again.
USB-C, yes, sir.
So yeah, and
And
the
they
speeds
include
are.
a nice they
Oh,
include a
that's
nice braided
nice.
cable with that. It's real
Yeah.
nice and short,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 10. It even says it on there, 10 gigabits a second on the
That's
cable
what I
right
was going to.
there.
So it's fast enough. You can work with it even while you're editing, though your media is
Absolutely,
stored externally and all that good
yeah.
stuff. Okay, very cool. Now we're learning about cleanliness. Is this where we're headed next?
Yeah, this is you can actually I was trying to find it on here. I've got it so oh here it is. Here it is. This is not a set of AirPods. It
Oh,
looks like a set of AirPods,
it
but
does.
it's this thing right here. If you've ever needed to clean your screen, this has got a thing that you can take off the top. It's almost looks like a it almost looks like a little deodorant kind of thing right here, but it's got
It does.
a
It does look like that.
it's got a little Velcro removable thing right here on the top, and you can
Yeah.
basically clean your screen, your computer screen with this. It's really cool.
Oh.
But on the bottom, if you notice, you can
Uh-huh.
push the button and a brush comes out. This is a very fine, I feel like it's one of those makeup brushes that women use, but
Yes.
you can use this for your keyboard and to get dust out of your keyboard, to dust everything off.
Ah,
These were
fancy.
made to basically be a screen thing for the screen in your computer, in your car,
Right.
but they can be used for your computer in your office. And I just really thought it was a cool little thing. I've been using it quite a bit, and I thought, I'll include it. It's made by Spigen, and
Good.
Spigen's a pretty good brand,
Mm-hmm.
and thought I'd include that on the list.
It's 33% off as we record this, so it's $19.99 right now on Amazon. Very cool. My screen is always nasty.
Yeah, if you
And it
value a good screen, a clean screen, then something like this is
gets on
nice
my
to have.
nerves. It gets on my
Because
nerves so
you're not
much.
supposed to use anything on your computer screen, especially like a glass
Yeah. You don't want
MacBook
to take a
screen.
paper towel to it or something.
Yeah, you don't want to do like Windex and a paper towel. You want to have some type of microfiber, and that's what that is.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Handy. Uh, oh, speaking of handy things, okay, we knew there were going to be some everyday carry things that were a
Absolutely, you
part of
did.
the gift guide.
That's what you get when you get me.
This
So
is another thing you're kind of known for is the everyday carry stuff. So what's in the pocket today? What do we got?
this is the Leatherman
Yes.
Free T4 multi-tool. This is a chunky boy, but it is the best multi-tool I think I've used, and it's very economical. If you look at some Leathermans are not very cheap.
Right.
This one is only, I think, 60 or $70. It includes
Mm-hmm.
12 different tools, and the cool thing is about it is it's got this little magnetic closure, so I can push this little release right here,
Yeah.
and it comes down, but then it will go back
Oh.
inside, and all of these tools are magnetically attached to the thing itself. And so
Uh-huh.
you've got a little scraper tool slash a flathead screwdriver,
Yes.
and then I can pull out a file. You've got a crosshatch file on one side and a regular file on the other side,
Mm.
and then you flip the tool over. You've got four more tools. You've got some scissors, which are great. You've got a sewing awl, which also is a good scraper tool. And then you've got a Phillips head screwdriver that you can use. And the best part about these tools is I pick which one I want, and then I can put it in place and it locks in place. So it's not going anywhere
Mm.
right now, and I can lock it. Of course, it's got a bottle opener there. And so you've got all sorts of these different tools right here, and you can push that little button and they smoothly close like so, and they'll stay in there and they're not going anywhere. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Belt clip is awesome. It's got a
Mm-hmm.
deep carry pocket clip, so it's not going to be sticking out anywhere. But this tool gets thrown in basically every bag that I can when I'm not flying, of course. You can't fly with
Right.
this.
Yeah.
Um,
Be ashamed to
because it's
lose
got a
that at TSA.
right.
Yeah.
And so you can't fly with this, but basically everywhere else I go, this is somewhere in a bag. It's in my car. It's a great tool to keep around with you. And it's got a little bonus right here in the middle. You've got a little thing of tweezers, just like you would on a Swiss Army
Ah,
knife.
wow.
So it's basically like a much beefier, more useful Swiss Army
Mhm.
knife. And again, the Leatherman Free T4, can't recommend it enough. They got a bunch of different colors too.
Leatherman's just got a great reputation anyway, right? I mean, just
They
well
do.
made stuff. Yeah, and you can tell just by the sounds of that, when it
Yeah.
was such a satisfying sound when it snapped back in. That was nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
$69.95 on Amazon. All right.
And I'm gonna
Uh
try to find. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm
oh,
gonna try to find this next one.
but wait, there's more.
This is the last one on the list.
Okay.
But this is my. If I was to pick my knife of the year, my pocket knife of the year,
Oh, this is a big
this
statement.
it really is. This is my pocket knife of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Civivi Mini Praxis. Now I know what you're thinking. You look at some of these pocket knife prices and you think, yeah, these pocket knives are like 60, 70, 80, $90.
Right.
$27 for this bad
Uh,
boy. And it is really nice and ergonomic. This is actually the version that has G10, which means it's kind of a plastic polymer scales on it right here. It's got a
mm-hmm.
stonewashed black blade, but look at the ergonomics on this, how
Mm,
you would hold it. It just kind of wraps in your hand. And if you ever need to cut into a package or cut some rope or basically do any kind of cuts, this knife is fantastic.
mm-hmm.
And at less than $30 pretty much everywhere, there's not a better deal on it. And wow, it's down to 26. That's the lowest
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen it is 26. I've seen it at 27, but I've
Yeah.
never seen it at 26.
Even
This has
Amazon
got
says it's the lowest price in 30 days.
yeah, and I mean it's just a fantastic knife. And if you see this action right here, if you just go,
Oh,
it's
that's
just got
too
a
smooth.
nice. I mean, it's on ball bearings. It's got D2 steel, which is not. It's a budget steel, but it's not the worst kind of steel. It's not. You're not going to find this on a Walmart knife. These are fantastic. Let me show you this. This is another version that I don't have listed,
Okay.
but This is the version in Ultim. So you can see
Oh,
this is the first, this is an exclusive right here,
yeah.
Robert. This is the
Oh,
first time
okay.
anybody's ever seen this one
All
right here.
right. You heard it
But
here.
it's got the same ones here, and you've got the same version in Ultim. And Ultim is basically a yellow thermoplastic that's just been used in a lot of EDC stuff, but you've got the same great action right here, and I love that satin finish on that blade. These things are so nice and so sharp. Now, this one's going to be about double the price because of that material. But if you're looking to get some of these or what a really good pocket knife that you can give your dad, grandfather, your preacher in your life or whatever, this is just a really good, really good pocket knife to have. And it's not very expensive. Even the most expensive materials one is not
Wow. Okay.
really good.
Civivi, you said. Civivi.
Civivi, they are a
Civivi.
yeah, they've got sub brands called Syncut and We
Okay.
Knife, and they have different kind of sub brands for different knives as well. But they're a really good knife brand, and
Hmm.
they have kind of come out of nowhere in the last 5 years, and they've got a lot of good budget options.
Very cool. All right. 26.25 on Amazon today. Lowest
That's
price in 30
unbelievable.
days. So run out there,
I'm
everybody.
I seriously might go buy another one just so I can have one to just
Just go.
beat to
All right.
death. You know what I mean? This is seriously a good beater knife. If you need something
Uh-huh.
that you can just beat to death,
Yeah.
$26.
Doesn't matter. You're
Tw-
cutting through cardboard, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
You don't have to
Right,
baby it. Yeah, it's okay.
right.
Nice. All right. These are some solid picks. Very useful stuff. Super practical. Chad Landman always delivers. Okay, so links to everything that we've just discussed are in the show notes. TheLightNetwork.tv. Look for Preachers in Training, Season 18, Episode 10. There you'll find not only the list and the 3 categories that we've just gone through, but also the link to the really fantastic Digital Parenting Workshop, digitalparentingworkshop.com, where you can learn more about what Chad does as he travels all over the place, helping parents, families, churches be equipped with how we can help our young people to navigate this brave new world of technology. And even more than that, also equipping you so that you can help your young people to do that in a safe way, in a way that is guarding them from a variety of threats. So anyway, you got to check it out, digitalparentingworkshop.com. And as we looked at earlier, the resources page has a ton of content on there. So go and check that out. I know that'll be a blessing to you and to the congregation there where you worship. Graymere Church of Christ is in Columbia, Tennessee, and if you're ever passing through, I know Chad and the other good folks there would be happy to have you and see you around.
And
A
if
lot
you're
of great
moving into
stuff
the
going on.
area, we would love to
Okay.
talk to you. Yeah.
Aha, check that out. Okay. There's a few congregations in the area, right?
There is, and I'm not saying the competition is fierce, but it is friendly. So
We're all on the same team. Okay.
we're all the same team.
The middle of southern middle Tennessee, right? So there
That's
you go.
correct. Yeah.
Very good. Chad, I appreciate it, man. It's always good. I'm glad we could get together. This is the 8th or this is the 9th time that we're
This is the
together?
8th. Yeah, this
Okay.
is number 8.
This
So
is number 8. Go
best I
back
can figure.
and
I think we started in 2015. You asked me first time in 2015 to do this.
I love it. It's so much fun. And like you said,
Well, thank you.
we've got some repeats there. We've got the AirPods, we've got the iPad mini. I know we've talked about phones before. Charging accessories and all of that. I mean, these are just ever evolving things that can help us and make, especially travel. If you travel even
Yeah.
fairly frequently, you just
Yeah.
want to have some good tools in your bag, help you out. So,
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, Robert. Really appreciate you thinking of me
hey,
again.
listen, thank you. I know this is a lot of work to get all this stuff together, so we appreciate it. That's going to do it for this edition of Preachers in Training. I want to thank you for being a part of this today. We've really enjoyed it. Next week, we're back to talking more specifically about the ins and outs of preaching and ministry. It's always good to get a few tools to help us as well as we go. Thanks for being with us. Let's go preach the word.